So you'll see, I think it's a very good point, you might see something in what you do in your day job that, go, hey, this is another opportunity or a different opportunity path I want to take. So, but my point is, anytime the government does something, there's always some opportunity. But I think it's kind of back to the baby boomer thing, the aging population, this health, the whole health and wellness, and not just health after you're sick, but there's kind of a wellness trend too, trying to stay well. People are really panicking about health insurance. So you're seeing more and more, even the hospitals and clinics and all that are talking more about wellness and staying well. We had a doctor sitting in here, kind of had a group of medical professionals from around the region, and he said, I know how to solve the healthcare problem. People need to take care of themselves. And he was serious. I mean, he wasn't just making a statement. He said, he goes, I can prescribe pills, but I tell people to get exercise, and they don't do it. He said, I know they'll be healthier. They will avoid this surgery. They'll avoid this. And he said, but I can't get them to do it. But wellness, people are starting to catch on to. And quite frankly, the reason we don't as Americans, and I'm guilty of it too, is I don't feel the financial pain of it. You're going to start feeling the financial pain of not taking care of yourself. I mean, it's going to happen in the next 10 years. And then people start taking care of themselves only because they're trying to avoid, paying a couple $1,000s a year for health procedures.
Health insurance premium is the biggest detriment to growing and staying in business.
Oh yeah.
A family policy costs $1,200 to $1,400 a month.
Mm-hmm.
That's a mortgage payment on a fine home.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. It's expensive. It's expensive, and it's not, regardless of how the government, how this healthcare reform works out, it's going to be more expensive for us. I mean, it just is. And so.
Staying well is actually, it's very easy.
I am. Well, it's simple. It's not easy. That's what I always tell people. It's simple. You know what to do. It's just not necessarily easy to do. I joke about the fact I go to the gym over here in London, and I didn't go back until Tuesday night. Valentine's night, I know, and I should have been home. But it's kind of an official thing. I go back to the gym on February 14th because all the people that had their New Year's resolutions are all done by then. And it's back to where it was before. So and you can count on it. And it's simple, it's not easy. All right. Economic turmoil. Economic turmoil can really create some opportunities as well, and we're in that right now. As I mentioned that back when I was talking about those statistics, that a lot of companies have started in down economic times. I mentioned Southwest Airlines. FedEx also started in a down economic time. What did they offer? They offered a faster and cheaper way to ship things overnight. Okay? It used to, before they were around, it was the United States Postal Service, and UPS was they were much smaller then, but they were around there. But oh my gosh, to ship something overnight was absolutely insane. Now you'd literally spend, just to ship a letter overnight, $40, $50. Okay? Not anymore. $110, you got a letter, you can have a letter in San Francisco tomorrow morning. So they found a way to say, okay, businesses are trying to cut costs, so we're going to get into the shipping business, and we found a way to do it. All right? I don't know if anybody knows that story, but that was actually a MBA student from, I think, I want to say University or Memphis State, because that's where FedEx is, but it was some Tennessee university, and this was his class project. And he laid out a business model, like I described earlier. That was their class project as a senior. He laid out this business model for FedEx and how it would work, and his professor gave him an F because he said it would never work. He showed them. Yeah. And Southwest Airlines, I think, is a great example. If you haven't read the book, I think the founder, it's something, Peanuts is in the title. I forget what he called the book, but he did not start Southwest Airlines competing with other airlines. Do you know who he competed against? Or he saw his competitor? Buses, Greyhound. That's the way he set his business up. That's why today I was on a Southwest flight this weekend. You pick your seat, just like you do on a bus. That's where that came from. Southwest is the only one that does that. Pick a seat. But they started out in Texas, just doing like Dallas to Austin and Austin to San Antonio and go to El Paso. They were just doing trips like Greyhound would do. And the annoying thing about Southwest is a lot of cases to get somewhere, particularly if you're going coast to coast, you might make 3 stops. or all other airlines are trying to do it in 2 or less, you know. So they're like, yeah, people won't care. They'll pay. They'll be willing to pay less for the little inconvenience of being a little slower to get there. And by gosh, they were right. Now they are the largest airlines. They cart more passengers every year than Delta and all the other ones. So, successful story. All right. I think that. Oh, so I mentioned earlier that there is a lot of help for entrepreneurs. So I want to talk about this is some of the stuff I use, or I'd recommend that you use. First of all, the up here on the top, Entrepreneur and Inc. If you've been by a newsstand, you've seen these magazines. They are probably the best magazines for entrepreneurs and small business owners. The other thing I like about them is all their content is online and it's free. So you don't even have to go buy the magazine. You got a laptop with a web browser, you can go on and read all their articles online. I like that about them. There's so many other, like I hate it when I try to look up a Wall Street Journal article and I go, oh, that's one I want to read. Yeah, do this and do that and pay this and so these guys just they give it to you. So there's their websites up there. But again, if you're a person who prefers to read a magazine, you can find them at most newsstands. These other resources are some organizations that that you have some good resources. ThinkKentucky.org is the Cabinet for Economic Development site for startup businesses. They have a lot of services available to startup businesses. I suggest going to ThinkAboutKentucky.org and just kind of browsing around, but some things I'll tell you about is they have, like if you ever think you might sell internationally, they have a whole group of people that will help you with doing business overseas. Particularly if you're a small or minority business, they have a whole section for small and minority businesses. A great guy named Mark Johnson runs that. They have, and I'll get to this here in a second, these people across the way. The Cabinet for Economic Development does have some funds for certain types of businesses, all right? Some loan funds and some what they call forgivable loans, where they'll actually give you a loan as long as you create some jobs, you don't have to pay it back. They also have some grants that they administer. So go there and just kind of browse around and look at that. KSTC are the guys that manage all these grants and loan funds for the state. That's the Kentucky Science and Technology Corporation. But again, it's somewhat limited, okay? I get so many people coming in next door here at the big center going, I understand there's grants for small businesses. There's not. There. Now, I know what happens is they go into Hal Rogers' office and say, I understand there's grants for small businesses, and Hal Rogers' receptionist goes, oh, go see Kentucky Highlands. And so, he's a politician, he doesn't want to tell people no, so he just sends them to us. So we tell them no. But there's not grants for small businesses, there's not. I don't care whether you're female, male, pink, purple, doesn't matter. There's not grants to start small businesses. And if you think about it, you're a taxpayer, okay? Would you want to write a check to somebody who just has a wild business idea and say, here, you say you're going to create 10 jobs, here's a check. No, you wouldn't do it. Government's not going to do it either, all right? So but my point is with the KSTC, for specific things, they look for some certain technologies and clean energy and some things like that. There are some grants that are out there. You can find out, again, that information on the thinkkentucky.org site or go to KSTC and you'll see what kind of grants and loan programs are available for specific types of businesses. I just tell people that blanket, I say there aren't grants for small businesses so you don't get your hopes up. But there are, every once in a while. And if you come to us and you want me to help coach you, I got a pretty good beat on what's available and whether your business will fit into it. Kentucky Small Business Development Centers, we have 2 that really operate in this area. One's in Somerset, out of EKU in Somerset. John Preston is the guy's name that runs that one. And there's one down in Middlesboro out of Southeast Community College down there, and that's Sam Coleman. They kind of do what I do. And we work together with them a lot. All right, so usually I get a lot of the folks that come to them who really need some funding, maybe even some more sophisticated funding, because that's what we do. And sometimes I'll, especially if somebody comes to me from Bell County, I might say, rather than travel up here, just go see Sam. because Sam can help you put together a business plan and help you put together your financials and all that kind of stuff. But that's what we do. We take, the SBDCs take, brand new companies and help them put together their financials and their business plans and help them, kind of think. They're good advisors, right? SCORE is the Society of Retired Executives, and we've got a office here in London, trying to think of the guy's name now. I can't come up with it. But if you look, if you go on the Google SCORE, S-C-O-R-E, you'll find them, and all their locations are there. These are folks who are retired executives who have said, we are willing to help entrepreneurs and business people in our area. Now, they kind of are a broader, the SBDCs are really folks who work with startup businesses. SCORE will work with startup businesses as well as existing businesses, and they'll have, they're what I call